ano yung positive dun sa 4 and 1?
4.
Yung 4. Laging positive yung mas malaki. Laging, kung ano yung sign ng middle term, kapag negative yung last term, yun yung sign ng larger number. For the x-intercepts. Nakikita ba yung yung slide?
Yes po.
Yes
Okay.
po, sir.
So to find for the x-intercepts, which is also known as the zeros of the function, with the given equation of the quadratic function, as you can see, the equation given is y is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 4. So we are asked to find for the x-intercepts of it. So all you have to do, the first thing we are going to do is transform that given equation of the quadratic function to quadratic equation. That means we are going to replace, in place of y, ng 0 para mabalik siya into quadratic equation. So, ganito ang mangyayari. So, that will become x squared plus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. So, in quadratic equation na ngayon, yung equation natin which was written in a general form of it. So, once it's already a quadratic equation, so let's solve for the values of the variable here. So, we can make use of any of the methods that we know in solving quadratic equations. So, here, we can make use of factoring. So, we are going to find out factors of that given trinomial on the left side that will satisfy the condition. So, factors of x squared, that would be x times x. Then, what would be factors of 4, particularly negative 4, that when added, the sum is positive 3. Ano ba mga possible factors of 4? Only 4 and 1. And what else? 4 and 1 lang naman. 2 times 2. 2 times 2. But when you add 2 times 2, that's 4. When you add 4 times 1, that's 5. But since it's negative, so dapat yung isa doon sa mga factor na yun ay negative. So, alin doon sa dalawang factors na yun, na kapag minus natin, ang sagot ay 3. That is yung 4 and... Ano yung tamang factor natin? That is 4 and 1. So, since the middle term is a positive number, ano yung positive doon sa 4 and 1?
4.
Yung 4. Laging positive yung mas malaki. Laging, kung ano yung sign ng middle term, kapag negative yung last term, yun yung sign ng larger number. So, positive yung 4. So, it will that sign will be may carry out niya through finding the factors of it. So, that should be plus 4, then minus 1. Then from there, we are going to make use of the zero product property. So, by equating both factors into 0, that's x plus 4 equals to 0, and x minus 1 equal to 0. Then all you have to do is to solve for x na lang. That is by moving the constant term to the right side of the equation. So it is just like we are making use of a certain property there, particularly addition and subtraction property of equality, for us to find out for the value of the variable x. So when we move it and it jumped the equal sign, the sign will change. So what will be the value of x here? What will be the first value of x? See nga?
Negative 4.
So that is negative 4. So that is correct. How about the other one? What would be the other value of x? That's x sub 2.
Positive 1 po.
That is positive 1. And that negative 4 and positive 1 are what we call as the x-intercepts of the given equation of the quadratic function. So sa madaling salita, if we are going to graph this, so ito yung dalawang yun ha. So if we are going to graph this given equation of the quadratic function, so ang mangyayari is that the graph or the parabola will intersect at point negative 4 and positive 1 on the x-axis. So nakuha ba yung yung example na yan? So let's have example number, letter A. Dito naman tayo. So the given is y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 15. Kung natandaan nyo yung first example. So when we are talking about the opening of the graph, what would be the opening of the graph of this given equation of the quadratic function? Anybody? You can raise your hand to answer. You can use raise hand button there to answer. Yes.
Upward.
That is upward. So, the opening of the graph is upward. Bakit sa tingin mo upward yung opening? What makes you decide that the opening of the graph is upward?
A is greater than 0.
Because A is greater than 0 or your A is positive. Okay. So, we know that the graph opens upward. So, now let's find out for the vertex. So, to find for the vertex, so ang mas madali is we have to list down first the values of A, B, and C. So, ang value ng A dyan ay 1. Ang value ng B ay 8, while the value of C is 15. So we are going to make use of these values of A, B, and C for us to find out for the vertex of 8. So unahin natin finding H. So to find for H, we need the formula negative B over 2A. So if we're going to substitute values of B and A coming from here, we'll find out for the value of H by isolating this expression. So we do have H is equal to negative of B, negative of B is 8, so it should be negative 8 over 2 times 1. Nakasunod?
Yes po.
Okay, then from there, it should be H is equal to negative 8. Sinimplify lang natin over simplifying denominator part, that would be 2. So therefore, the value of H is equal to, what's negative 8 divided by 2?
4 po.
Unlike signs, that's unlike signs. That is, what's the value of H?
Negative 4.
That's negative 4 because it is unlike signs. So the value of H is negative 4. How about the value of K? Paano ba kinukuha naman yung K? So we can make use of the formula K is equal to 4AC minus B squared all over 4A. Wait lang. So all over 4A. So ang gagawin lang natin, we simply substitute values of A, B, and C to this formula so we can come up with the value of K. So that would be 4 times the value of A is 1 times C, which is 15, minus B is 8. That would be 8 squared. All over, that would be 4 times 1, which is the value of A. Then simplify natin. Kakaroon tayo ng 4 times 1, that would be 4, and 4 times 15. What is 4 times 15?
60.
That is 60. So that's 60 minus 8 squared. What is 8 squared? That's 8 times 8. 8 times 8, that would be 64. All over 4. And it will be equal to, so that will be 60 minus 64. When you subtract it, that would be negative 4 divided by 4. So therefore, what would be the value of K? Negative 4 divided by 4.
1.
Negative 1. Negative 1.
That's negative 1. So the value of K is negative 1. So we already have now the vertex. So ang vertex, sabi natin, is written in an ordered pair form. So the vertex will be, ang vertex natin ay H is negative 4 separated by a comma and K is negative 1. So we do have this vertex. And that value of H and K will help us also in finding for the other properties that are needed in a graph of a quadratic function. So let's proceed to this. So the vertex is negative 4, negative 1. Tanda na, H is negative 4, K is negative 1. So let's proceed to the equation of the axis of symmetry. What would be the equation of the axis of symmetry? It should be in the form X is equal to H. So it should be X is equal to, anong value ng H kanina?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So that's why the axis of symmetry is X is equal to negative 4. It should be in equation form. Hindi dapat siya may iba. How about the domain? Our values of x. So it should be d is equal to, isa lang naman yun eh, x such that x is an element of real numbers. So kahit ano pang given equation ang makita ninyo that you are asked for the domain of it, of a given quadratic function, the answer for the domain is ito lang. That the domain is x such that x is an element of real numbers. Nakasulat siya in a set builder notation. How about the range? Sabi natin kanina, ang range nakadepende on its graph. Since the graph opens upward or your A is positive, so gagamit tayo ng greater than or equal. So it should be y such that y is greater than or equal to the value of k. Ano yung value ng k? What is again the value of k? Natatandaan?
Negative 1.
Negative 1 po.
Negative 1, that's correct. So, ang range natin ay y such that y is greater than or equal to negative 1. So, since the graph opens upward, so ang meron siya ay minimum value. So, anong minimum value niya? Yung value daw ng k. Ano yung value ng k? Kasasabi lang sa pagkuha ng k,
Negative 1 po,
that's
sir.
negative 1. So, answer mo na negative 1 is already enough. Not like for the axis of symmetry na dapat naka-equation form siya. So, your minimum value is negative 1. How about the y-intercept of the given equation? Balik tayo sa equation. Yeah, ito yung given equation natin. What would be the y-intercept?
15.
That's correct. So, the y-intercept is 15. That is just by simply making these terms with an x equal to 0 or making the value of x equal to 0. So it's just like covering those terms with x, then what will be left is just a constant term. So nakuha yun so far?
Yes po, sir.
So paano naman
Yes,
ang
po.
x-intercepts? So x-intercepts natin, ang given equation na y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 15. So equation is y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 15. So, ang gagawin natin, we have to transform it first into an equation. So, magiging x squared plus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Then, solve for that given quadratic equation using any of the methods. So, since we can make use of factoring here, so let's make use of factoring. So, the factors of x squared would be x times x. So what would be the right factors for 15 that when added, the sum is 8? Yeah, anybody?
3 and 5.
That is 3 and 5. Are they both positive or both negative?
Both
Positive.
positive.
They are both
Positive.
Both
positive.
positive.
It's both positive. It's because the middle term is positive. So positive 3 and positive 5, or it should be positive 5 and positive 3. So kung ano yung sign niya, may carry out niya yun dun sa factors niya. Then from there, let's make use of the zero product property. So magiging x plus 5 equal to 0, and the other one is x plus 3 equal to 0. So what will be now the values of the variable? Who can give me the first value? Raise your hand. Yes, Kit.
X is equal to negative 5.
X is equal to negative 5. How about the other one, Jonalyn?
X is equal to negative 3.
So, x is equal to negative 3. So, this is x sub 1, ito yung x sub 2, and these two values of x are what we call as the x-intercepts, or also known as the zeros of the function. Any questions? Any questions ba?
Wala
Pasadahan
naman po, sir.
natin mabilis yung pangalawa. So, the given example here is y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x. So, raise your hand. What would be the opening of the graph? Sino yun? Sige, Kit, again.
Downward.
The graph opens downward. It's downward, it's because the value of A is
Negative po.
negative. That's correct. How about the vertex? So, ang value ng A natin here is negative 1. The value of B is 5. While the value of C is? What is the value of C?
0.
0. Because wala tayong constant term. So, the vertex, for to find for H, it should be negative B over 2A. So, substitute, H is equal to negative B, that's negative 5, over 2 times A, which is negative 1. So, magiging H is equal to negative 5 over negative 2. So, we can simplify it since both of them are negative. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So, it will be H is equal to 5 over 2. So, pwede natin i-accept yan even though it's written in an improper form. As long as it's already the simplified form of it, enough na yon as the value of H. How about for the value of K? Again, we're going to make use of the formula 4AC minus B squared all over 4A. So, substitute lang natin. That will be 4 times negative 1 times C, which is 0, minus 5 squared. Then, all over 4 times negative 1. So, 0 multiplied by any number is 0. So, that means this term will be cancelled out because the answer to it is 0. So, magiging negative 5 squared na lang. And what is 5 squared?
25 po.
So, it should be negative 25 or minus 25 over 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Then, both negative again. So, negative divided by negative is positive. So, we'll come up with the value of K which is equal to 25 over 4. So, may tanong so far. Nakasunod. Then, the value of the vertex now is written in an ordered pair form. 5 over 2, 25 over 4. So, remember the value of H and K. So, ito yung H, ito yung K. So, those will help us in order for us to find for the properties that we need to find out of the graph of the quadratic function. So, what will be the equation of the axis of symmetry? That should be X is equal to, anong value ng H? What's the value of H? That is 5 over 2. So, it will be equal to X is equal to 5 over 2. How about the domain? Iba isa lang sagot natin sa domain. Domain is equal to X such that X is an element of real numbers. And the range, since it opens downward, gagamitin natin is less than or equal. So, it should be Y such that Y is less than or equal to anong value ng K natin? Balik tayo. Anong value ng K?
25
25
over 4 po.
That is 25 over 4. Okay. Next, maximum value dapat to. It should be the maximum value. So, palitan natin. Dapat ito ay maximum value. Bakit maximum value? It's because the graph opens downward. Ang meron siya ay maximum value. Anong maximum value niya? Value of K. That is 25
over 4 po.
over 4. Eh, anong y-intercept? Proceed tayo sa equation. Anong y-intercept? Ito ang equation at the quadratic function. Sige, what would be the y-intercept? The y-intercept is 0. That is correct. The y-intercept is 0. It's because wala tayong constant term on that given equation. Now, what would be the x-intercept? So, equation natin, negative x squared plus 5x. So, y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x. So gawin natin equation. It should be negative x squared plus 5x is equal to 0. And usually, di ba, kapag negative yung a natin sa quadratic equation, we make it positive. So that is by multiplying both sides of the equation by negative 1. That would be x squared minus 5x is equal to 0. So, factor yung gagamitin natin dito. Both terms, ang common factor niya ay x. So, it should be x times x minus 5 equal to 0. So, using zero product property, the first factor is x. So, x is equal to 0. And the other one, x minus 5 is equal to 0. Kapag pag ang given quadratic equation natin ay walang constant term, automatic yon na ang isang solution niya ay 0. How about the other solution? Ito na ngayon ang x sub 1 mo. What would be your x sub 2? What is x sub 2?
Positive.
That is
5
positive
po.
5.
Positive 5.
So therefore, the x-intercepts of the given equation to quadratic function are 0 and 5. May question? Nagustuhan nyo yung video na to, so just hit like, share this video, and also subscribe IGOP Lord official channel. So, importante is for you to subscribe the IGOP Lord official channel. And also, don't forget to comment down below if you do have anything to say. So, hanggang sa muli, goodbye!